Apparently, this is really easy in CapCut. But what about After Effects? Hey, and welcome to Solving FX. And these high retention TikTok style captions are kinda cool, but doing them in After Effects seems complicated. In this tutorial, I'm giving you a caption you can reuse, until Adobe replaces us all with AI. I'll be starting in Premiere Pro to steal its transcription and timing data. If you're already bringing in your own timecodes from some other software, skip ahead, I won't be offended. And I know that there are some plugins that can do captions in AE, but this way is free, plus you're going to actually be learning how to handle CSV data, text animators, and expression selectors. It's called character building. And look, if you're just in a rush or hate my voice, the finished project and PDF guides are linked in the description below. So let's jump into, well, Premiere Pro. Here's my clip from the introduction. It's been edited and ready for me to remove the background in After Effects. But first, I'm going to go to the text panel, and the auto transcribe is already in action. If it's not, I can go to the three dots menu and select the option there. In a few minutes, I now have a transcription. It's based on text-to-speech. I've not been able to import a script, but I can edit and update the transcription if I need to. But this transcription is for accessibility rather than impact. To create captions like in the intro, I need to select the CC icon. In the pop-up, here I can generate on-screen burned-in captions. And if I expand the preferences, I can see options for style, the minimum duration, if there should be any gap between frames, and if there should be single-line captions. Now, if I select bold captions white background, I get something quite usable already when I hit Create Captions. If I switch to the Properties panel, I can make changes to the look quite easily. And they're all selected right now in this row in the timeline, so I can change that by selecting just one. If you're just throwing something together quickly, this is all pretty useful. But if you want to add some animation, we need After Effects. Back on the text panel, open the three dots menu and select Export, and choose Export to CSV file. Hey, and welcome back, chapter skippers. Here's my CSV file from Premiere Pro. Each block of text has its own start and end timecode, which is our trigger. But there's a catch. Premiere Pro thinks in hours, minutes, seconds, and frames, while After Effects works in just seconds. If your CSV file is already using raw seconds, you're lucky and can skip the conversion part I'll cover in a little bit. When you drop a CSV into After Effects, it's just another layer. You can drill down into the data properties and see each column as rows. Sure, you could pick a text layer source directly to one of those values, but that's not exactly time-saving. To make this dynamic, we need to use expressions to tell the text, look at the clock, check the CSV, and show me the right words at the right time. From a text layer, I'm going to expand it on the timeline and holding Alt click on the source stopwatch and type var CSV, that's our variable, equals and pick whip the CSV layer, semicolon new line. Now on a new line, var numRows equals csv.source.numRows semicolon. Basically, how many rows does After Effects need to count through? Var txt equals double quote semicolon. TXT is our final source text, so create it as empty to begin with. Next, to get it out of the way, I'm going to create a time-to-seconds function. So, function time-to-sec, brackets, tim, close brackets. I'm using tim instead of time, as time is a reserved term and I don't want the code to break. I'll be doing this later on too. Open curly brackets. And let's put in an error check. If brackets type of tim, exclamation mark equals quote string close brackets, open curly brackets, return parse float, capital F, brackets tim, close brackets, semicolon, close curlies. If the variable tim is not a string, send it back. Next, let's break up Tim into computer-readable values. var timarray equals tim.split brackets quotes colon close quotes close bracket semicolon. Split separates out a string variable by assuming that the column is a separator and making a list or array with hours being in the first position, then minutes and so on. Another quick error check. If brackets timarray.length is less than 4, close brackets open curly brackets return 0 semicolon close curlies. So if Tim has no or too few colons, we wouldn't have a list of 4 items. Now let's make our items into seconds. var h equals parsefloat brackets timarray square brackets 0 close squares close brackets times 60 times 60 semicolon. Do yourself a favour and copy this line into your clipboard. What this is doing is creating a variable called h for hours and saying take the first item in the tim array's count from 0, and use parsefloat to make sure it's a number. Then multiply this value by 60 minutes in an hour and then by 60 seconds in a minute to get the time in seconds. Now paste a copy of this line underneath. Change h to m and change the 0 in timarray to 1. And then delete the second times 60. That's our minutes. Next paste it again. Change h to s and 0 to 2 and delete both times 60s. That's the seconds sorted. Paste it again. Change h to f and 0 to 3. Then delete the times 60s and replace it with times this comp.frame duration. Note the capitals. Frame duration will be 1/30th for me, so take the frame number and make it a decimal of a second. Next, on a new line, return h plus m plus s plus f and close curly brackets. That's our timecode conversion done. Boring, but super useful. Now we're going to loop through every row in the CSV, which is why we needed numRows. For brackets var 0 semicolon, I is less than numRows semicolon, I plus plus close brackets. So taking I as 0, loop through until I is no longer less than the number of rows. Open curly brackets. var strt equals csv.source.dataValue capital V brackets square brackets 0, I close squares close brackets semicolon. So create a new variable called start without the a and set its value to be the data value in the ith position of the CSV. Copy the line and paste it underneath. Change strt to ed for end and change the 0 to 1. Paste this line again. Change strt to row text and change 0 to 2. So in the loop, we now have row values for the start, end, and text. Let's now convert our timecodes to seconds. var start time equals time to sec brackets strt close brackets semicolon. Var end time equals time to sec brackets ed close brackets semicolon. That's calling the function we made earlier and setting start time and end time to be the return values. New line. If brackets time, that's the comp's current time, is greater than or equal to start time and end time is less than end time, close brackets open curly brackets. txt equals row text. Break. Close curlies. Close curlies. So during the loop, get the row's start and end time. Then, if the current time is during the start and end, set text to be the row's text. And break tells After Effects to stop looping. This statement has found what we need. Finally, just tell the text layer to display txt whatever it is set to. And previewing that, you now have captions as a text layer you can style however you want. But if you want to add a little animation, on the text layer, click on the tiny Animate menu and choose Scale. And then from the tiny Add menu, select Opacity. Set the scale to 50%. You'll see all the text is now half the size. set the opacity to 20%. By the end you might want to set this down to 0, but this way there's still something on screen. Carefully select just the range selector and tap delete. And then go to the Add menu again and choose Selector, Expression. This adds in an expression area we can now add a variation of our existing expression to. So go back to the source text and copy the expression there and paste it into the expression area. At the top, above all the code, type var start equals 0 semicolon, var end equals 0 semicolon. Var fade time equals 0.15 semicolon. So new start and end variables and an animation duration of 15 frames. Inside the if statement in the loop, delete the text business and replace it with start equals start time semicolon, end equals end time semicolon, break. So a bit like with the text variable, we're now setting values for the start and end. Delete txt at the bottom and replace it with var fade in equals linear brackets time comma start plus fade time comma 100 comma 0 close bracket semicolon. I love the linear expression. It's a range mapper. Here we are saying using time as the driver, when time is at the start, set the value of fade in to 100 and change the value to 0 by the time the time has reached start plus fade time. Copy this line and paste it underneath. Change fade in to fade out and change the starts to ends and swap the 0 and 100. Finally add Math.max brackets fade in, comma, fade out, close brackets. Math.max picks the larger of the two values to determine what to use. It's a handy way of combining two linear expressions, all of which gives us this. Okay, I know this was a bit of a monster. If your brain feels a little fried, don't worry, so does mine. But best of all, you don't actually ever have to write it ever again. Just make sure your source text property and animator 1 is selected. Then go to Animation, Save Animation Preset. Call it CapCut SchmackCut. Or, something professional. Certainly not a name based on a Desert Planet urban legend that you'll regret being stuck with. And next time you have a CSV, just double-click your preset from the Effects and Presets panel. And you've basically built your own custom plugin for free. If this saves you any time, please click the like button so other frustrated artists can find this. And if you get stuck anywhere, drop me a comment below and I'll try to help out.